is officially October the 26th, 2018. Welcome to the Third Down Show. I said earlier on Twitter I wasn't going to do a show today, but the good Lord spoke to my heart, saying it would not be Friday, especially going into the big game with the New Orleans Saints playing the Vikings this week, if I wouldn't talk about it and give my opinion about it. So I will come today and talk about a little something. I probably won't even talk too long. I think I'm going to focus on between the two New Orleans teams. Do you know right now the best team in the Western Conference is the New Orleans Pelicans? They are officially 3-0 and have looking dead at 4-0 tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. They're the 9.5 point favorite tonight. Discuss them. We will talk a little bit about what's going to happen on Sunday with the New Orleans Saints, with the Minnesota Vikings. It's kind of like the big game of the week, if you ask me, in the NFL. Also, we will maybe discuss. I will talk about two matchups I'm looking at this weekend in college football in the top 25. There is no LSU this week, so I will look at two matchups, and then I will give my opinion about the Lakers. I looked at a stat from the other night from the Lakers game, and it was involving JaVale McGee. And this is seeing how this team really is desperate for shooters, because the things that he didn't do in Golden State. So we will discuss a little bit of that. So let's go on. Let's talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. You know, let's get a little music for that one. Just a little bit. So one, like I just said, Pels find themselves at 3-0 in the Western Conference. They are the best team in the Western Conference. The playoffs started today. The New Orleans Pelicans will take on the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round. But it's the first week, guys. I know it's a long way from home, but something that I think this team has been trying to do for the last, under the Alvin Gentry era, is come out to fast starts. And for once, it's good to see them ahead of the sticks instead of trying to play catch up behind. Remember last year, they didn't get their first win until the third game of the season. They lost the first two to Memphis, and they lost to Golden State as their home opener. It took Jameer Nelson last year for them to get their first win of the year, but they got it going. So I mean, I'm very satisfied how things are starting for New Orleans. But I guess tonight I really want to see, so far, first three games, look like Nikolai Mirotic has been the guy that's been taking over. He's been more the X factor. Like, he's been playing that solid second option role. And now I want to see others be involved, because that's going to be nice when he don't hit them shots. I think last game he didn't hit a 3-point shot at all. Julius Randle, I like his role. Julius Randle set himself up to be sixth man of the year, big time, on the role he's playing right now, coming off the bench. And Jrue Holiday starting the season off a little slow on the offensive end from what I have seen, but defensively, his presence has very been known. I want to see when they're going to start throwing in Wesley Johnson. I'm waiting to see that. They've been playing Ian Clark sparingly, and once again, when I told y'all this a few days ago, I apologize that I really haven't watched a full game yet to really give a true coach's perspective on what they have. I've been watching bits and pieces of it. And like tonight, I got to work again. Really and truly, I tried to take off to go to this game because I know I'm a fan of D'Angelo Russell. I really do like D'Angelo Russell. I really wish D'Angelo Russell would come to New Orleans. I know he's going to be a free agent next year. So that's somebody I'm really looking into. But I'm a fan of D'Angelo Russell. I think he got a lot of potential. He just got to get his head on straight. I want to see him in person. But I don't know. What's the plan? I think the big game is going to be tomorrow against the Jazz, and then they play Golden State sometime next week as well, And, I mean, if you can come out beating the Jazz at 5-0, then, you got momentum. Golden State is beatable, and the Nuggets has exposed that this year, and Nuggets got to defend people, you know what I'm saying? But Golden State is very beatable, very, very beatable. Now, can you beat them in a 7-game series is a different story. But people taking shots, and I think when people taking shots at the Warriors, I want to know to a degree how that's going to affect them throughout the year. If they don't get them when time we get to April and May, going into June, when people take more shots at them, not being afraid, and they have to play more about 75, 78 full games in the season instead of taking 4 quarters off, as they are accustomed to, or days of rest. That's the things I want to be interested to see. Because to me, they're going to have to get, by the time DeMarcus Cousins do come, they're gonna have to play together as a team because they gotta involve this with everybody. This can't be just we gonna throw here and throw there. Because if we're gonna make this work in the playoffs, we gotta make this work now. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna pan out for for the rest of the league. But I gotta give New Orleans their credit. You go to Houston, you beat Houston. You play the young, hungry Sacramento team. I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein is setting himself up to be most improved player of the year as well. And then you come in and you play the physical Clipper team that's hungry just like you are. And so now you get a chance to play your first Eastern Conference opponent. And this is one thing that I want to see New Orleans improve on is that don't play down the competition. Now, I think Brooklyn actually not playing bad. But still, I think Brooklyn and New Orleans are not even in the same league right now. So this is what I want to see tonight. I want to see them dominate. They're a 9.5-point favorite. So I want to see them put up 20 to 25 points, beat these folks. That's my prediction tonight. So pay a little bit more attention. I'm telling you, once I really sit there and really look what's going on, I'm going to have a better understanding what they're trying to do offensively and defensively this year. I've just been seeing bits and pieces of it. So before I move on to the association, I think I'm going to go to the Lakers next. Now, I think that was the San Antonio Spurs game the other night when the Spurs, when they lost to the Spurs in overtime, I believe. And I looked at the stat line. I looked at it. I was just like, well, let me look at the stat lines and see what it was that, good game. They lost by a point. I said, but let's see the full stats and see what it was. Now, I looked at the Lakers starters. And, okay, that wasn't the Spurs game. It was the next game that they played. Let me pull it up. I believe that was against the Nuggets. Yeah, that was the next game. No, I lied. That wasn't that game either. I'm going to show you. It was a stat that I want everybody to understand. Like, this is what they have to accustom themselves, get themselves prepared for if they got to depend upon that. Let's go back to when they played the Suns. They got their first win of the year. Now, Lance Stevenson did lead with 23 points in that game. This was the stat that threw me off the most. JaVale McGee had 20 points, which for his size, I expect, because he played with a high motive. He played with a lot of energy. I can see him with 20 points. I can. I honestly can. He had 20 points. From the field, he was 8 for 13. Once again, I can see that because you know what? He plays with a high motive. Even when he was playing sparingly with the Golden State Warriors, he played at a high motive level. So I respect that from JaVale McGee. But he was 1 for 2 from the three-point line. Now, there's been videos this whole season, off season, that JaVale McGee was stepping out, adding the three-point shot to his game. Don't you know, in that starting lineup, and I'm going to make sure I do the math, he was 50% from the three-point line. Now, that's 50%. From my knowledge, he was, in that starting five that night, he was the second best three-point shooter in the lineup that night compared to everybody else. So that's names like LeBron went 1 for 5, Kyle Kuzma went 0 for 2, and Ball went 1 for 3. But he was the second best in the lineup that night that shot 50% from the three-point line. And I was looking at 2K the other day. I was playing 2K. I was looking at some stats and looking at some people who I think the Lakers need to try to make a call to. And potentially, what about Ryan Anderson to come in to help out, shoot the three a little bit more for you? Yeah, I know you got Kyle Kuzma, and Kyle Kuzma starting to show a little progression. I know you don't have Brandon Ingram right now because of the suspension. He should be back sometime this week or this weekend for sure. But if you ask me, I think that the Lakers gonna need some. If you gotta rely on him to step out and make some 3-point shots, yeah, this is not what's gonna make this team work. And I think they're really desperate for shooters right now. Truly desperate for shooters. They gonna really need people to come in and really shoot the basketball. I like Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart's probably the best shooter they have on the team. But they need more than that, I think he's going to need somebody to shoot off of him, He can't shoot every shot, but he plays at a high level. So I think the Lakers are still in this this funk right now, figuring things out. They don't have all their team due to suspension. You know, how they gonna make things work when Rondo and Brandon Ingram do come back? And to me, if things really do start to click, Rondo might be the odd man out, you know, for a little while. Brandon Ingram will have to get thrown back in there. But Rondo might be the odd man out. But we're going to see how things going to work, man. I don't know. I just think this is one of the more dysfunctional teams because they don't really truly have an identity. They play an old school style pace, but they got to make it more modernized, you know? You have to. So I'm just interested to see what's going to happen with the LA Lakers coming up sometime this week. Can't tell you too more about them. That's it. All right. So, big game of the weekend. I say the biggest game in the NFL for sure. If you ask me, I will say that. Definitely the biggest game in the NFL will be the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we really don't have to talk too much about what this game means to New Orleans and New Orleans fans. And we all know what happened. We were 10 seconds away from going to the NFC Championship game and being a game away from the Super Bowl last year. So we know what this game means to us. Now, Minnesota is the favorite to win this game, and that's not no shocker. But I think I like where we at. You know, I think Eli Apple came in at the right time, if you ask me, to help out Marshawn Lattimore and Ken Crawley and P.J. Williams and company, and even the secondary with Von Bell and Marcus Williams and all them other guys. So I like what we're doing right now. But I think what I'm looking forward to see this weekend is how we're going to keep our nerves. You know, I think the biggest thing about it is we got to stay calm. I think emotions will be high. I think they're not going to forget how things went last year. And I think the fans are not going to let the Saints forget it. But I was just watching ESPN. They showed how fast New Orleans got down 17-0 so quick, and they came back. And I guess when you look at how emotional that game was, because they had to fight so hard. They had to fight so hard to get back in the game. They get back in the game, and all of a sudden, what happened? They find themselves with a loss, with just that much effort with 10 seconds left in the game. So I want to see on Sunday night, you know, first time on Sunday Night Football, and God knows how long. I want to see on Sunday night what's going to happen, how they're going to react. I want to see offensively how they're going to balance their run game. To me, week one last year, something that they struggled with. They didn't have an identity because they kept trying to, you know, work in at least two running backs at the time between Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson. The offense didn't have a flow because when they put AP in, they stacked the box. They know they're going to run it, but they was like AP was struggling. So now since he's gone, and then when they played them in the playoffs, it was a different look. Like they was able to run their normal sets, a more balanced backfield between Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. I said it last year. If Minnesota would have caught New Orleans in the middle of their win streak last year, I think the game of week one would have been different than what it was. And also, I believe to the fact now, when you see where they at now, I know the secondary still has some issues, but I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think that what's going to happen, I think New Orleans on the defensive line going to control the run, and they're going to put more pressure on Kirk Cousins and try to get that ball out as quick as possible. They get the ball out fast, I think they're going to be all right. So, offensive side, they just got to do their jobs. And because this defense is not what it was. It's really not. So I really like their chances. For sure. So I think it's going to be a good game. This is, once again, this is the mini of the playoff series. You look at the heart of the schedule. You had Baltimore last week. You won your first playoff game, if you ask me. This week, you got another playoff game. Playoff environment. Can you win this one? Then the following week, you got to play the Rams. Then the following week, you got to play the Hoodies. Then the following week, you got to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Then you got to play Atlanta. Then you got to play the Cowboys. Then I think Carolina's coming up after that soon as well once we get into December. So from here on out, man, you're looking at a tough playoff schedule. This is the toughest schedule left in the NFL. And if you can at least weather the storm, and I'm not saying New Orleans definitely not about to win out.